The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a completely new obsession.
Oh, absolutely.
But let's actually rewind a bit and picture this. It is close to midnight in New York City. The neon lights of Times Square just blazing, and the crowds are swarming the way they, always do.
Right. It's total chaos.
Exactly. And weaving through this massive sea of people are two figures on rented bikes. They are wearing hoodies. They've got sunglasses pulled way low, looking like literally anyone else just trying to navigate the tourist trap.
It's completely blending in.
Yeah, they pull over. One of them is casually eating a burger, entirely unbothered, and then just starts dancing to Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' Empire State of Mind.
Which is iconic.
But here is the kicker. She is dancing right underneath a massive, glowing American Eagle billboard that features her own face. And not a single person in the crowd even notices.
I mean, that is just cinematic.
Right. It is the ultimate illusion of privacy for Hollywood's most polarizing new power couple, Sydney Sweeney and Scooter Braun. But the real question we're asking today isn't how they pulled off that incognito bike ride. It's why you and me and millions of other people are so fiercely addicted to debating it.
It really is a phenomenal illusion. I mean, you have the retired music manager and the Euphoria star hiding in plain sight.
Welcome to StarScope Report, where we uncover the massive Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral pop culture moments. I am so excited to get into this one. From red carpet surprises to the psychology behind the fame, we are going deep today.
And this story is, well, it's the perfect storm. The internet isn't just mildly interested in this pairing, they're aggressively fractured over it.
So to figure out why, we are pulling from a really fascinating stack of sources. On one hand, we've got the factual timelines and the controversy tracking from major outlets like Us Weekly, Newsweek, and The Mirror.
Right, which we absolutely need just to establish the basic reality of what happened when.
Yeah, but we are taking this a huge step further. Later in the episode, we will talk about the shocking twist nobody really saw coming. To understand the actual machinery behind your own reaction to this couple, we brought in a brand new, peer-reviewed academic paper from the journal Psychology and Marketing.
Published in February 2026, by the way.
Yes, and it maps out the exact science of why we care about celebrity gossip.
So if we look at the couple themselves, the juxtaposition of these two figures is what immediately hooks you. You have a 44-year-old former executive who, officially retired from music management back in June 2024.
Right.
And suddenly he is pairing up with a 28-year-old actress who just ended a highly private 7.5-year relationship.
Which is wild. And the timeline of how they rolled this out is, honestly, it's a masterclass in modern public relations.
Oh, totally.
If you look at the reports from Newsweek, they did not start with some flashy red carpet debut. They started in the most insulated environment you could possibly imagine. June 2025, at Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding in Venice, Italy.
Yeah, that specific location is so crucial. A billionaire's wedding in Venice is not a place where you just accidentally bump into the paparazzi.
No, not at all.
It is a hyper-controlled elite bubble. And that is where they first met and were actually spotted walking together.
And from there, the strategy really seemed to be about maintaining a super low-stakes visibility.
Right, like they spent Labor Day weekend in Lake Tahoe, which, again, leans heavily toward remote, wealthy isolation.
But then in September, the entire strategy shifted. They were seen holding hands at Universal Studios' Halloween Horror Nights.
Out in the open.
Yeah, out in the open, and they were there with her parents.
Wow.
Which, that changes the entire calculus of the outing. Going to a theme park is chaotic enough, but bringing the parents, that elevates it from a casual fling to a vetted partnership.
It's a huge step.
I mean, you don't bring a guy you casually met a few months ago to scream in a haunted house with your mom and dad unless there is a very solid foundation being built.
You really don't.
Yeah.
And the intentionality of those appearances creates this bizarre contrast with the public narrative that was being spun at the exact same time.
Oh, the interviews. Yes.
Right, because by November 2025, they were photographed having a very visible, rather awkward makeout session while sitting on a rock in Central Park.
Which is basically the most public place in the world.
Exactly. And that Central Park moment is where the PR strategy completely contradicts itself. Because right around the time they're kissing on a rock in the middle of Manhattan, she is on the cover of GQ's Men of the Year issue, explicitly telling the interviewer, quote, "I'm single."
It is so brazen. And then just a couple of months later in January 2026, she does an interview with Cosmopolitan where she repeatedly pushes back on all the dating rumors. She insists she is keeping her love life strictly private.
It's a fascinating dual reality. You have the visible photographic evidence of a relationship manifesting in major public spaces, and it's running perfectly parallel to a strict, on-the-record denial in major publications.
I honestly think it's the celebrity equivalent of a corporate stealth startup.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. They operate entirely in the shadows. They quietly build the infrastructure. They secure the funding, which in this case is meeting the parents and establishing trust.
Right, getting the stakeholders on board.
Exactly. All while making the CEO sign non-disclosure agreements with the press. They look the public dead in the eye and say, we have no product, right up until the exact second the product is ready to ship.
And the rollout of that product was executed in very specific tiers.
Yeah.
The soft launch, like the teaser campaign, happened in April 2026 at the Euphoria Season 3 premiere. They shared a very quick kiss.
Barely caught on camera.
Right. Then a few days later, a set photographer from the movie Anyone Gun, you posted a subtle black and white Instagram story of the two of them. Braun actually reposted it with the caption, "Lucky bastards."
So subtle.
It was an acknowledgement, but a very subdued, calculated one.
Yeah. The staged subtlety of that Instagram story is brilliant. But, every stealth startup eventually needs an IPO. And for them, the actual hard launch was the Stagecoach Country Music Festival in late April 2026.
That was huge.
The grainy paparazzi shots completely vanished. They were replaced by this highly curated, PDA-packed grid post right on her own Instagram account. We suddenly had full, clear videos of them singing Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places.
Alongside Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, no less.
Which just firmly transitions the relationship from a rumor to an undeniable cultural artifact.
And according to Us Weekly, the integration is moving rapidly now. They are actively blending their families. His 3 kids, Jagger, Levi, and Hart, are spending time around her, and he has been spending time with her brother, Trent.
So the startup is fully operational.
Very much so.
If you are loving these Hollywood twists and the strategy behind them, make sure you are subscribed to StarScope Report. We've got even crazier stories ahead, and you don't want to miss how we break them down.
Definitely hit subscribe. But to your earlier point, the second a company goes public, it invites aggressive market scrutiny.
And this is exactly where the internet's reaction completely fractures. Neither of these individuals entered this relationship as a blank slate.
None at all.
They both bring massive, highly scrutinized baggage that the public just loves to dissect.
And the reputational drama surrounding Braun is arguably one of the defining pop culture moments of the last decade. It all revolves around his company, Ithaca Holdings, purchasing Big Machine Label Group.
And with it, the master recordings for Taylor Swift's first 6 albums.
Right. Now, before we dive into those specifics, we really need to be crystal clear with you, the listener.
Yes, absolutely. We are not taking sides on this issue. We are not endorsing his narrative or her narrative.
We are strictly conveying the perspective he recently shared in the source material, because that perspective is the baggage he personally carries into this new relationship.
Exactly. So in a recent interview on the Second Thought with Susie Wise podcast, he addressed the fallout of that specific acquisition directly.
And he described the total whiplash of going from being this universally loved, appreciated industry figure for over a decade to waking up and becoming, quote, literally a villain the next night.
And the defense he laid out in that podcast is highly, highly specific. He claims he doesn't actually know Taylor Swift.
Which is wild to hear.
He stated on the record that he has only met her 3 times in his entire life and only ever had one single conversation with her that lasted more than 2 minutes.
He further claimed that in the 2 or 3 years leading up to his company buying Big Machine, he and Swift had absolutely zero contact.
None at all.
His stated position on the podcast is that he remains just as confused as the public about why this feud is such a monumental part of his life.
And regardless of the validity of that defense, that villain label is a very heavy piece of luggage to drag into a new, highly visible romance.
It really is.
But the scrutiny goes both ways. The actress has her own career controversies swirling simultaneously.
Yeah, Variety recently confirmed that Euphoria is officially ending with its current 3rd season, and her character's arc has taken a deeply provocative turn.
To put it mildly.
Right. In this final season, Cassie works as an adult content creator. The scenes are intense, specifically one heavily debated sequence where her housekeeper films her wrestling a yellow python.
And again, just to be clear, we are not taking a stance on the ethics of television production here. We are just outlining the massive debate happening online.
Because the internet is fiercely divided on whether these scenes are crucial character development or just purely exploitative shock value.
The show's creator, Sam Levinson, actually defended the direction as absurdist humor. He was highlighting the bizarre nature of filming adult content in mundane or just ridiculous situations.
And she has forcefully pushed back against her own critics regarding this arc. She stated on the record that she was never pressured into raunchy scenes by Levinson. She expressed deep frustration with the public's hyperfixation on her nudity, pointing out that this obsession entirely ignores the actual acting work and the creative agency she brings to her own performances.
Which creates a fascinating pressure test for this new relationship. I mean, how does a 44-year-old former music executive handle his 28-year-old partner being the absolute epicenter of a highly heated, sexually charged cultural debate?
Well, according to insiders reporting to Geo News, he handles it with complete security.
Really?
Yeah, he gushed about her on that same podcast, calling her extraordinary, kind, and generous, and smart, and real and down-to-earth. The sources indicate he has absolutely no issue with the steamy scenes, understanding it as just part of her craft without feeling threatened at all.
Looking at how neatly their needs align, I just have to ask the question, is this relationship, at least partially, a mutually beneficial PR alliance?
It's a valid question.
I mean, he gets a massive rebrand. He sheds the music industry villain persona and suddenly steps into the role of a grounded, secure, supportive partner to a beloved young actress.
And the benefits on her side of the equation are equally substantial. Us Weekly reported that she is, quote, soaking up the knowledge he has across multiple industries.
Because she's currently starring in and promoting her new boxing movie, Christy, where she plays real-life boxer Christy Martin. And she's expanding into producing.
Right. Gaining high-level business mentorship from a man who profoundly understands the mechanics of fame, PR, and corporate strategy that is an incredible asset for her right now.
But hold on, that is not even the wildest part. Even if we completely accept the theory that it is a brilliant PR move, it still does not explain the audience.
Explain what you mean.
I mean, if they are using this relationship to manage their public image, why are we so eager to be managed? Why do you and me and millions of others spend our free time fiercely debating the motives of two total strangers riding bikes in Times Square?
That is the big question. And that brings us to the core of this amazing psychology and marketing paper by Giambastiani, Nunes, and Ortani.
Yes, the study.
This study strips away the celebrity names completely and looks purely at the mechanics of human gossip. And they start with a staggering baseline metric. Humans spend an average of 52 minutes every single day gossiping about absent third parties.
Almost an entire hour of every single day is spent talking about people who are not even in the room.
Yes. And contrary to the stereotype of gossip being malicious or toxic, the research notes that 75% of all gossip is entirely neutral.
It's not just trash talk.
Exactly. It is simply the transmission of personal information to help us map our social environments. But the researchers really wanted to understand why we choose certain targets for that neutral gossip. Why pick a celebrity over, say, a coworker?
The paper leans heavily on something called power dependence theory.
Which sounds very academic.
Honestly, it sounds like human resources jargon. How does power dependence theory possibly apply to me dropping a blind item into my group chat on a Tuesday night?
Well, think of it as an equation of influence. In a normal social relationship, say, with a close friend, a sibling, or a colleague, the influence is balanced.
Right.
You impact their life and they impact yours. Your actions carry reciprocal, real-world consequences. But a relationship with a celebrity is a parasocial relationship.
Meaning it is entirely one-sided.
Completely imbalanced.
Yeah.
The celebrity influences you by dictating fashion trends, sparking emotional reactions through their art, or shaping cultural conversations. But you have absolutely zero influence on the celebrity.
They don't even know you exist.
Right. So how does that imbalance actually trigger our desire to gossip about them for 52 minutes a day?
Okay, so the researchers conducted 5 pre-registered studies involving over 2,000 participants, and they discovered that people are significantly more likely to share neutral gossip about a favorite celebrity than about an actual acquaintance.
Which is wild.
And the catalyst for this behavior is an emotional matrix made of 2 very specific variables: guilt and excitement.
And you had a really good analogy for this earlier.
Yeah, I think gossiping about a celebrity is exactly like playing a video game on God mode.
On mode, right.
You get all the thrill of the explosions, the complex storylines, and the dramatic action, but your character has infinite health. There are absolutely zero real-world consequences. You cannot take damage.
That perfectly encapsulates the guilt variable. In a balanced real-world relationship, if you gossip about your coworker's secret dating life, you anticipate a very high level of guilt.
Yeah, because they could find out.
Exactly. Your actions have actual moral weight because you risk damaging a tangible social bond. You risk retaliation.
But with a parasocial target, the anticipated guilt just plummets. I am not going to ruin my friendship with the star of Euphoria because that friendship literally does not exist outside my own head.
And with the moral weight removed, the second variable takes over, which is excitement. Because the celebrity holds high status and exerts massive cultural influence, simply discussing them generates a measurable spike in physiological arousal and excitement.
It is structurally more thrilling to debate the strategic rollout of a Hollywood power couple than it is to discuss the dating life of the guy who works in accounting.
So the magic formula is low guilt plus high excitement. That combination acts as a psychological license. It completely overrides our natural social hesitations.
We get the social reward of sharing juicy, high-status information with our peers without paying the emotional tax of feeling guilty about it.
It is an irresistible cognitive loop. But the most groundbreaking aspect of this study isn't just why we talk. It is what happens to our wallets after we talk.
Okay, this is where it gets crazy.
The researchers measured a metric called willingness to pay.
So let me guess. The God Mode game is free to play, but the developers are charging us microtransactions based on how much fun we are having.
That is exactly what the data suggests. Engaging in neutral gossip about a favorite celebrity actively increases a consumer's willingness to pay for products associated with that celebrity.
It actually increases it.
Yes. Gossiping acts as a behavioral signal of your own curiosity, which in turn strengthens your parasocial bond with them.
So you're saying, if I spend 20 minutes debating the timeline of the Venice wedding and the Central Park makeout session, I am literally priming my own brain to spend money on them later.
That's exactly it. The study utilized the specific example of paying for a personalized cameo video, demonstrating that people who gossiped about the celebrity were willing to pay significantly more for that interaction.
Wow.
But that logic scales infinitely. Gossiping about the actress makes you statistically more likely to buy a movie ticket to see Christie. Gossiping about the music manager increases the likelihood of engaging with the artists he supports or his future projects.
That is incredible. The gossip isn't just idle chatter. The gossip itself is the economic engine.
Right.
You aren't diminishing their value by dissecting their private lives. You are actively increasing your own financial investment in their brand.
So when you synthesize all of this, the romance we are dissecting today is the absolute perfect storm for this psychological machinery.
It really is.
You have two highly visible individuals carrying intense, heavily debated pasts. You have a timeline that was kept quiet just long enough to build massive intrigue, followed by carefully deployed public appearances.
Like putting on hoodies and sunglasses to eat a burger in the middle of Times Square, knowing perfectly well that the moment is going to be captured and circulated.
Precisely. It provides the public with the ultimate low-guilt, high-excitement conversational fodder. It is a masterfully calibrated trigger for the parasocial gossip mechanism.
So the real takeaway for you, the listener, is to recognize the machinery you are participating in. The next time you find yourself screenshotting a headline about a sudden celebrity romance or forwarding a blurry paparazzi video to your group chat, just understand what is happening neurologically.
You're not just passing the time.
Exactly. You are actively participating in a parasocial economy, and your excitement is being monetized.
We tend to categorize celebrity gossip as a guilty pleasure, a frivolous distraction. But this academic data proves it is a deeply ingrained psychological behavior with a highly tangible market value.
Which leaves me with one final, slightly provocative thought for you to chew on today. If peer-reviewed academic data can definitively prove that our neutral gossiping directly increases our willingness to spend money on these specific people, we really have to ask a bigger question.
Oh, what's that?
Are the celebrities and the massive PR machines that orchestrate their lives fully aware of this exact math?
Well, that's a brilliant question.
Are they intentionally feeding us these slightly bizarre, highly debated moments like dancing under your own billboard in disguise, specifically to keep the conversational engine running and fuel their own personal economies? Next time you dissect a candid celebrity moment, ask yourself, who is really playing who?
It definitely changes how you look at the headlines.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.